Hi, Stephanie. How's it going? I'm recording this video as my ticket out the door for Tech Camp. Um, I wasn't 100% sure exactly where to post it or what have you, so I'm just going to email it to you. If you need me to take and send it a different way or anything like that, please just give me a shout, let me know, and I'll make sure that I get it to you in whatever way you need it. But I This is the project I've been working on and what I've been trying to work on since Tech Camp ended. Now, this is not the PowerPoint that I have up now. Is not what I've been working on. It's where I started. So please don't have a small heart attack and think I didn't do anything or didn't learn anything. I definitely learned a lot, and between last year and this year. So I just wanted to give you an idea of where I started. So I said in Tech Camp that what I wanted to do is I wanted to make my unit on Andrew Jackson more engaging, make it more than just he became president. He did the Trail of Tears, a unit over, moving on. So I wanted to take a look at some of the things he did, and I wanted to really kind of give it some relevance to kids today and really kind of relate it to their lives and what they've experienced and what they've gone through today. So I was able to do that. But like I said, I want to start off with where I was. Now, this is a much more thinned out version of what I started with. This was what I taught this year about Andrew Jackson because I had a very short window of time that I needed to cover Andrew Jackson. So I really kind of followed the Alan Oliver approach of teach that he was elected. He was president of the United States. He did the Trail of Tears, and he was a terrible human being. And really, I focused mainly on the Trail of Tears and stuff like that because I feel like it's an important topic to teach, and it's something that kids need to know and need to learn. So I really spent a lot of time on that. But as you can see, what I wanted to point out was this is your very stereotypical run of the mill PowerPoint. You've got text, the notes that I want kids to know, the information I want them to know, images, a slide of just text with a link to a video, and a map showing, and if it'll switch, there we go, a map showing the tribes that had to move to Oklahoma, and what tribes they were and stuff like that. So
the Trump administration has announced that it will wind down a program.
I don't know why that started playing. Gotta love when stuff like that happens. This is one of my links that I'm going to show you in a second. There we go. So I was able to pause that. This is one of my links I'm going to show you in a second. But going back, this is where I started. This is where what I had for my original Andrew Jackson slides, and where I was starting. So what I have been working on and what I have turned this set of Google Slides into is this. And it might take a second to load because I'm on my Chromebook, and my Chromebook doesn't always like me. It's very slow. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've turned it into this. The first thing you kind of notice right off the bat was that I've obviously changed up the background, and excuse me, I've made it a more interesting background. I got this background from Slides Mania, which I believe it was Beth. I think it was Beth. Yes, it was Beth that talked about it in one of our sessions. When she was talking about differentiation, she went into how she sets up her Google Slides and stuff like that. She actually taught us that last year too, but she used Slides Carnival instead of Slides Mania. And she found Slides Mania apparently this year and talked about that one. So I went to that and I found this background and thought it was a pretty cool background and something, the kids can kind of relate to because they see it every day. One of the other things I learned was how to take images and turn them into, fit them into shapes. That was something that Virginia taught us in the Google Slides Advanced session. And just to take and show you this real quick, because it might be hard to see from the video, but if I go ahead and I present it, you'll see exactly what the images are on the right side, those two right side circles. Hopefully it'll load sooner rather than later. There we go. So I have a Jamboard link. These two, Trump A and Trump B, are Jamboard links. They are links into two different Jamboards that say the same exact thing. And the reason I did that is because one of the things I learned about Jamboard in the session this year was that it's good for about 10 to 12 kids to use at a time. If you have 20 kids on there, what's going to happen is it's going to slow down. It's not going to work properly. So my workaround for that was to make two copies, an A and a B. I split the room in half. I have each of them write in their assigned Jamboard. And then when I am showing the Jamboard up on my smart board, I can split that in half so that the kids can see both of them, or I can shift it back and forth, whatever is easiest for me to do. But somehow, some way, I show both Jamboards so that the kids can see. But it's linked with Donald Trump's face because the Jamboard is asking. Let me get out of this, and I'll show you what I did with the Jamboard. The Jamboard is asking, what do you know about Donald Trump's presidency? It's one slide right there. I went ahead and I used, I believe, again, it was Virginia's suggestion of how to make backgrounds on Jamboard that the kids cannot move and not alter in any way. You basically go to a Google slide, you create the slide, then you insert the image and you set it as the background. So this is actually a background image that is set to the Jamboard frame. And now the kids can go ahead and write in it and answer questions, whether they want to add a sticky note, they can use the pen, whatever they want to do. They can add what they think into this Jamboard, into the box, and we'll be able to look at it as a class and see what they know about Donald Trump's presidency, and what they remember from his presidency. Obviously, with a topic like that, what I am going to do is at the beginning tell them you have to stick with facts that you know. You cannot stick with, you cannot write any rumors or anything like that. We only deal with facts in this class, so please don't put anything that is factually inaccurate that you don't have any evidence to support and stuff like that. So try to keep it so that it doesn't devolve into an argument and a debate where kids are going, well, you're stupid, obviously, and stuff like that in class. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with, what do you know about Donald Trump's presidency? And the reason we're starting with that is because I have a big idea question. And that big idea question is, was Donald Trump a modern day Andrew Jackson? We've heard this argument. We heard this argument from 2016 all the way to 2020. And I want to take a look at it and compare Donald Trump with Andrew Jackson, compare their two presidencies and some of the events in their two presidencies, to compare and contrast the two and give the kids a chance to answer that question. So that's why we're going to start out with the Jamboard to see what kids remember and see what kids know. Now, I skipped over the title slide, and as you can see, I did a little more of adding in Andrew Jackson images into those four circles. His early life, him as a war hero, him as president, and then just his name and himself on the $20 bill. Just to add images, to add a little more, make it a little more realistic and make it a little more interesting to kids and stuff like that. So then going back just to show you, you can see that this is a Pear Deck slide. So as you know, I use Pear Deck a lot. It's pretty much the main add-on that I use for Google Slides. I don't use Nearpod a whole lot. I like Pear Deck a lot better. So I added in a writing slide so the kids at the start, before we even start the unit, can answer this question. Obviously, the answers aren't going to be great. They're not going to be really that good because they don't know anything yet. But the important thing is to preview the question. And if kids don't want to type, we can talk about it. I can alter my plans and alter how I want them to do things however I want to, whatever works for that particular class. And as you can see, I also added my Bitmoji in there just as that's one of the things we learned last year. And just to add a little bit of hipness and coolness to my slides and stuff like that. And I think this started again. Man, I love technology. This could go ahead and just stop doing this. That'd be great.
Trump administration has announced that it will wind down.
Sorry, hold on one second. Interesting. All right. Okay, I'm just going to click on this link when I get around to it. I'm just going to close it right now. That'll hopefully solve that problem. How do you adapt to technology? That's pretty much a crash course in this right now. So going back, I'm asking this big idea question. The answers they give at the beginning aren't going to be too major because they haven't learned anything yet. They don't know anything yet. So their answers at the beginning are going to be very basic. But by the end, they're going to be asked this question again after we've gone through the main key points of Andrew Jackson's presidency, and we compare them to events that happened in Donald Trump's presidency. They'll be able to base it on a lot more things and a lot more information. The next slide, this one I actually thought was cool, and I'm going to show you kind of some of the things I did to tweak it and mess with it a little bit. We'll go ahead and we'll click present, and we'll hope this loads kind of quick. So this already came in. This slide came with the Slides Mania background file. So I added it in because I thought it was pretty cool. And it's actually a lot more convenient and makes navigating this a heck of a lot easier to use than I thought it would be. So basically what this has become is a table of contents. And what I can do is I can travel throughout the PowerPoint from this slide. So what this did is it had basically invisible boxes that this background linked to different slides in the PowerPoint. So I kept those links, and then what I did is I just used the snipping tool to create these images and put these images in here so that you knew exactly what slide you were going to, and then you could edit the title and stuff like that. The really cool thing about this set of slides is that everything is editable. So I could edit this title. I edited this. I edited what was here. I changed what was typed here. And this is actually an image that you can download that you can move. So I was able to move that to make it look like it's an actual web page, which is really cool. But the awesome thing that I wanted to show you and wanted to give everybody and give you a chance to see is if I go to one of these links, like I said, it links it right to that slide itself. So this is probably, I think, right around slide 10, 11, or 12 or something like that. But it goes right to the National Bank. And then from there, I can just move backwards and forwards and stuff like that as I need to. And then if I don't want this up here anymore, I can click that X and come back to here. This would be a great Slides Mania background for a choice board if I wanted to use it for a choice board, but it just so happens that I'm using it for this. And this is actually really convenient and makes my life easy. And actually, I think too, let me just double check that. Yeah. And then it'll go back a slide. You can click that X and it's interactive like that, and it'll go back to that. So let me go ahead and escape out of here and keep kind of walking you through it and showing you. So I thought this was really cool, and I thought it was neat that I could do this. So I kept this in, and it'll give me an easy way to take and move through, because I'm going to teach each one of these, not each one of these slides, but each of these is kind of divided up into a section. Elections, these three are grouped together. So is mass democracy. Sanctuary cities and nullification crisis are grouped together. Trump versus Obama and the national bank fight are grouped together. And then Indian removal and immigration are grouped together. So each of these sections is going to be a lesson, really. And I can fast, kind of jump to whatever section, whatever lesson I'm doing that day, which is actually really neat and I thought was really convenient. So this slide I thought was really cool and really neat. And as you can see, I'm going through. I've added I didn't mean to do that. I added another Bitmoji in here. I got a couple images from Wikipedia that show the results of the election of 2016 and 2020. And just show how many votes Donald Trump had in terms of the popular vote, how many Hillary Clinton had, the electoral vote and stuff like that. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to compare that to the election of 1824 and the election of 1828 and just kind of show how Andrew Jackson won the popular vote and the electoral college vote, but lost the election in 1824 and then came back and won it in 1828. And then I explain how that happened, why that happened, in this section on mass democracy. The great thing about Pear Deck is that the kids are going to have it right in front of them, so they'll be able to read all of this information. They'll be able to take notes from this information, so it'll be good. I also have some political cartoons in here, so I can ask them about it. These are more engaging images than just your standard image of Andrew Jackson or Donald Trump or whatever the case may be. And then I threw in a Pear Deck slide that asked them what are the historical circumstances that led Andrew Jackson to become president in 1828. So this is going to be the bell ringer that starts the second day. What I realized last year is that one of the things that kids have a really hard time with when it comes to social studies is the CRQ questions, and they really have a hard time with historical context. And historical circumstances. So my plan is to really kind of drum that into them. So you're going to see every Pear Deck slide like this that I have is going to ask the kids about the historical circumstances of something. So that's what this Pear Deck slide is. It's going to be the bell ringer for the next day after I finish talking about mass democracy and comparing 2016 and 2020 to 1824 and 1828. So we'll start day 2 with this slide. We will then take and I'll show this. It talks all about sanctuary counties and sanctuary cities and what they are. And this video clip shows Donald Trump's response to sanctuary cities and how he doesn't like them and thinks they're hotbed for criminal activity and stuff like that. And then I'm going to move into talking about the nullification crisis and show the kids that South Carolina and John C. Calhoun did not like the Tariff of Abominations, the Tariff of 1828, and refused to pay it, and kind of give them a chance to debate and discuss whether it is okay for states to override laws that the federal government has, or to ignore the federal government or not help the government in the national government in the case of sanctuary cities. Some kids are going to be a little conflicted because they're going to look at tariffs and taxes and they're going to say, no, the states have every right to do that. But when it comes to sanctuary cities, if they are Donald Trump supporters, they are going to look at that and say, no, the states don't have a right to do that. And they're going to be conflicted on that one. So it's going to be an interesting study of that and an interesting discussion of whether states have the right to ignore federal laws or they don't have the right to do that. So that'll be pretty cool. After I talk about the nullification crisis, this will be day 3. I'll ask them what are the historical circumstances that led to the nullification crisis. And then after that, I'm going to jump into talking about Trump versus Obama and how Trump spent a lot of his presidency and a large part of his presidency trying to take and get rid of Obama's legacy, Barack Obama's legacy. As you can see, I added in a Bitmoji just to be kind of funny with it, just to be a little sarcastic. The kids will probably get a laugh out of that. It's not, obviously, it's not, I'm not picking one side or the other. I'm pretty much just taking and trying to be sarcastic and looking at the whole scenario and the whole situation. Political cartoon in here, kids will be able to see and read. And then I've got 4 links. This link leads to a Donald Trump's birther claims on Barack Obama and the fact that he claimed in 2011 that Barack Obama was not born in the United States, but was actually born in Kenya, as you are probably well aware. And then to counterpoint that, I want to show the kids the 2011 Correspondents' Dinner where Barack Obama kind of pokes fun and makes fun of Donald Trump and stuff like that. To get them to understand why that happened, I have the 2016 Correspondents' Dinner to show that this is an event where Barack Obama gets up, where any president gets up, makes a speech, pokes fun at those that have criticized him, those that are in his political party and everything else. So this clip here shows Barack Obama making fun of Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton and poking fun at them and stuff like that. And then this is the clip where Barack Obama pokes fun at Donald Trump while Donald Trump is sitting in the audience and stuff like that. And the question I'm going to pose and the argument that I'm going to put forth is that some people were arguing that Donald Trump used that as motivation to run in 2016, and then took and got rid of all of Obama's legacy because of that. I'm going to point out that there are people that agree with that idea and that theory, people that disagree with that idea and that theory. It's up to you to decide why Donald Trump ran for president and stuff like that. But what I am going to show is this link right here, and this was the link that was kind of being a pain in the neck. This is basically a list of times Trump overturned Barack Obama's legacy and any executive orders or tried to create laws that countermand or got rid of things that Barack Obama put in place and stuff like that. The other thing I wanted to just make sure I mentioned is these 3 video clips here. They're not YouTube links. They're Edpuzzle links. And the reason that I created Edpuzzle links is because I could cut out and create clips of my own that would kind of drive the point home and get the information across to the kids. For example, this whole video is Obama's complete remarks at the 2016 Correspondents' Dinner. That video is about 20 to 30 minutes long. I cut it down to the section where Obama's poking fun at Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, and that only lasts 2 minutes and 52 seconds. So that's why I chose to use Edpuzzle. And then I am going to kind of show the kids go through and click on this link and maybe find another couple links or something like that, that will drive home the same point and everything else to kind of show the kids how Donald Trump kind of rolled back a lot of Barack Obama's legacy. Now, it'll be up to the kids to decide what the reason for that was, but it will at least show the kids these are some of the things that he did these are some of the things that Trump did while he was president and stuff like that. And just kind of make that point and make that argument and show that Donald Trump spent some of his presidency trying to roll back Barack Obama's legacy. So I'm going to close that link out so it doesn't start talking over me while I'm trying to kind of run through this. So that's what I'm going to do there. And then I'm going to talk about the national bank fight and kind of show that Andrew Jackson hated the bank. He believed that it took advantage of common people and hurt common people. So we rolled back Alexander Hamilton's legacy to kind of improve the lives of people and and talk about the good parts and the bad parts of Andrew Jackson killing the National Bank. So that'll be the end of, I believe that was day 3. Day 4 is going to start with this Pear Deck slide. What are the historical circumstances that led Andrew Jackson to kill the National Bank? And then I'm going to, once they do that as their bell ringer and answer that question, I'm going to come back to this Jamboard. And there's a reason I want to do that, because I use a simulation in class that gives kids a good idea of how the reservation system was not a choice of Native Americans, but rather was something they were forced into. And what I do is I'm going to have them do the same thing over again. I'm going to have them write in the Jamboard and write down anything they can think of about Donald Trump's presidency. They know a lot more now. They've spent 3 days comparing Donald Trump to Andrew Jackson, so they should be able to do that. They'll start out by sitting in their seats. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a masking tape line right down the middle of my room, and then create a small box and masking tape in the back of my room. So I'm going to give the kids about 30 seconds to start writing in the Jamboard. And then what I'm going to ask is one half of the room to stand up and move over to the other side of the room on the other side of the tape line. They can find seats, they can stand, whatever they need to do, but they need to complete this task while being over on the other side of the room. Another 30 seconds is going to go by. I'm then going to ask everybody to stand up, and I'm going to ask them to go into the smaller box that I have taped out on the floor that is going to kind of represent the reservation that Native Americans were put on, Oklahoma, that they were forced into. And I'm going to ask the kids while they are back there to still take and work on this and to still try to do this. After about 30 seconds, a minute, however long I want to give them, I am going to take and kind of ask them, kind of how difficult that was. Is it something you wanted to do? Would you have preferred to stay in your seat? Stuff like that. And then what I'm going to do after they do all that is I'm going to introduce them to the Indian Removal Act and the Trail of Tears, and kind of show that we did that simulation to represent Native Americans being forced off their land and forced into Oklahoma, and forced onto reservations, which is pretty much the story of Native Americans from the time Europeans arrived until even today in a lot of cases. So I am going to take and have them take a look at that. I'm going to talk to them about Indian removal and the Trail of Tears, and then not to necessarily compare the two, but to compare them as human rights violations. And I have no interest in having the kids look at it and say which one is worse than the other. They're both human rights violations. So I'm going to take a look at the child separation policy, which is another Edpuzzle video that is going to take and be a clip of John Oliver's Last Week Tonight, where he does a segment on family separation. It's a 16-minute long video. I've cut out some of the things. It's on HBO, so I've cut out some of the things that aren't appropriate for this age group. But it does a really good job of explaining what the child separation policy was, why it happened, and what the effects were. It is one-sided. I'm going to explain that to the kids at the start, and I'll let them have a discussion on it and ask questions about it and stuff. But this is illustrating an example of human rights violations that happened in the United States and stuff like that. And kids can kind of decide whether they agree with it or not, and kind of compare that to what Andrew Jackson did a little bit and stuff like that, and see, and finally answer the question, is Donald Trump a modern day Andrew Jackson? Okay. And I also have some political cartoons and some images to kind of give kids an idea of what was going on in 2016, 2017, 2018 during the immigration crisis and stuff like that, and all of those sorts of things. And then my plan for the 5th day is to take and have them start out asking them about the historical circumstances of the Trail of Tears in this Pear Deck slide, and then wrap it up and finish it up by asking them the question, was Donald Trump a modern day Andrew Jackson? And I'm going to ask them to write in this Pear Deck slide a few things that, a few sentences that will fully answer that question. And that is what I've been working on. That's how I've attempted to make this more interactive and give kids a chance to be more engaged with this topic rather than just trying to teach it as this is Andrew Jackson. He became president. The Trail of Tears happened during his presidency, and he kind of ignored the Supreme Court cases. And that's all you need to know about Andrew Jackson. So I wanted to kind of create something that was a little more engaging. So that was my project. That's what I did. You can take a look at it. I included the copy of that PowerPoint presentation just to show you. So take a look around, check it out. If you need me to send you anything else to kind of qualify to finish this ticket out the door, please let me know and I'll be happy to do that. All right, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks a lot, Stephanie. Have a great day.